Hello everybody, Iain Robson here, and welcome to another edition of Manchester. Alright folks, we got a couple things going on today. If you recall from the previous episode, we were working away on this field. I actually changed out the seeder for the in-game seeder because this one doesn't seem to have any problems on little valleys like this for whatever reason. So we're just going to let that guy roll. He's currently seeding soybeans. And I also realized that I probably shouldn't have seeded quite yet, because I probably could have fertilized a little bit first. But that's besides the point. Let's take a quick peek at how much our... So we don't have any pigs or beef, I wasn't sure. And let's check how much liquid manure. 70, that's not enough. How many cows do we even have? 150 cows. Okay, so this is, like I said, this has a soil mod in it last episode, if you recall. And so some of the things that I didn't realize before, actually, let's just truck along with this guy. One of the things I didn't realize before is that the soil mod with chopped straw actually works together. Some people will mention that fact, and I thought that was really cool that they actually work together. It actually increases the pH a little bit. Increases, oh gosh, I think it's increases something. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head now anymore. Increases something, which is cool if you plowed under or if you cultivated under. Now in this case, this was just soybeans before, or soybeans, canola before, so there was nothing coming out of the back of the combine. But I think it's really cool that they added that capability in the game now with the chop straw. I think that's really cool. So, anyhow, I'm gonna let this guy roll. And let's see what else we got. So this is an example of what I'm talking about here. So here we have the chopped straw. Now I actually took the mod out, but it's still, the texture is still there, so that's interesting. So let's see, I don't remember what vehicles do I have. I have these two. And, I thought I had another bigger tractor. I guess I don't. I have fewer implements than I thought I did. Okay, so let's go ahead, and we've got 410,000. Okay. Let's see, what do we have? We could buy this, a big case quad track, road track in fact. What else do we have? I have a few other, could get the Claas, but I have that in some other series. I don't want to get it again because I've gotten it quite a few times now. Could get this, the New Holland. That is not a very good model. I don't know why I even keep that in there. These aren't very good either. Those aren't powerful enough. Neither are those, neither is that. These are. Alright, you know what, let's go for the case. We don't get case very often, so let's go ahead and, what do you think, the road track or the duals? Road track or duals? Let's go with the tracks. And before we do that, let's check to see how much this plow is. We might actually have enough for both, which is awesome. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and buy the plow first of all, because this is the soil mod version of it. It helps to have that stuff. So it's a John Deere plow, and here we are getting a case tractor. Let's go with the road tracks, because why not? And let's buy that as well. Perfect. Okay, and let's get those reset, and that reset. I don't know. Let me just do that once again. I'm just curious. I don't know if people noticed the name of it, but I'm going to show it to you when I find it. Lindbergh JB John Deere disc ripper. It's interesting. He's really concerned about people stealing his stuff. Like it seems like a really big issue for him because, oops. And I understand why. Don't get me wrong. It just seems strange to a certain extent. Alright, so a little bit of Christmas colors going on the field here. There we go. Let's hook that up. I believe with the new version of this, it also fixes the... Oh, that just doesn't seem like it's seeing very much. I feel like the field of view is really narrow in this. Holy smokes. Alright, so let's get this guy rolling. I'll do this because I don't get to do this very often. And that's good right there. And we'll bring up that, and that. Perfect. And is this tractor going to work with the GPS mod? Oh, looks like it is. This is good. often things don't work well. So okay, so let's look at the information. We have 3, 2. Okay, let's go forward a little bit further, and then what we'll do is we'll hop out and just swing back here to double check to see what the numbers are after the fact. 3, 2. Maybe it's only after a day or something. Maybe it's because I don't have the Chop Straw mod installed anymore. That's possible the reason why. Oh, there we go. I was like, do I have that even working properly? Excellent. So yeah, I do admit I didn't realize they had changed the texture on this for the plow texture, because that's probably the coolest texture ever. For those people who have seen the Old Ridge farm, that's the same texture. I believe that's where it originally showed up. Don't quote me on that though, but it seems like that's where I originally saw it, which is pretty cool. Oh, there we go. Weird. And apparently this is what I forget what it's called now. This is what Quick Camera says is the right way to look. Yeah, there's a few things that are off in this. Anyways, like that screen right there. I don't even know where I got this thing from. Probably one of the early editions of the case. I just like the fact that it has tracks on it, which I think is cool. And I do think it's a bit strange that we're only going 9 miles an hour. Or kilometers an hour, I should say. Oh, because we're going uphill. That makes more sense. So I don't know. I'm not sure if this is actually going to, if it's actually going to make a difference or not. Given the fact that we are using the soil mod now. It may. But I don't know. There we go. I don't know. I'll be curious. I'm happy it does work with the GPS mod though. Of course, because the GPS mod makes doing stuff like this really easy, and not well easy, but more efficient, I should say. Otherwise, you're wasting fuel. Like, could you imagine? Like, here's a case scenario. Could you imagine using, because this Ripper needs 500 horsepower at least, and with enough weight to pull it. So this is an example of a tractor that would be sufficient, probably overkill. Because I think this tractor has 620. Well, maybe not this one. This is a 370. Let's see. It's not a... Actually, you know what's funny? That only has 400 horsepower. And this... Oh no, I guess that's just enough. Just. I thought it needed 500 horsepower. It must have decreased it. Anyways, the Case Steiger 6, like even this tractor. But could you imagine having this out in the field and... not being as efficient as efficient as possible, because like think about how much money you'd be wasting. Like, I don't imagine this thing's good on gas or good on fuel. Like, it's not. I don't know how fuel efficient tractors like this are these days. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Like, it can't be. Oh, we don't have 4-wheel drive on or diff locks. There we go. That should make a difference. Like, I can't imagine it's very efficient. Like, if we're honest with ourselves here. So I don't know. And that's the reason why having things like GPS is super important for farmers who have big operations, because if you don't have the proper equipment, like it's gonna make your life not very nice, because you're gonna be wasting money out in the field basically. There we go. Lower that down. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. If you look carefully, oh, it doesn't do it anymore. It's only did at the start. But yeah, if you think about that, like you think about how efficient you should be, you know, out in the field, and that's why a lot of farmers are going to like GPS and stuff like that, because it does add a significant advantage. Like, you think of how much overlap you could have. Like, could you imagine using this tractor pulling that through the field and overlapping by like a foot or something like that? Like, think how inefficient that would be, like, for this type of operation. But I suppose at this level, in this scenario, if you had this type of equipment, you probably wouldn't be driving without GPS or some sort of guidance system, because it would just be a waste. Oh well. But I forgot how much I like this map. This is a really gorgeous map, and I'm super happy that it has the soil mod, because it brings two things I love: Canada and the soil mod. Maybe not the best combination, but it works in this scenario. So now I wonder what will happen if it'll skip a lane or not, if you just use this standard let's see, is it gonna skip a lane? Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Sometimes when you back up using GPS, it doesn't work very well. Other times it works really well. It just depends. Yeah, you're probably better off just leaving the plow down, just to keep it at the same speed, because if you just speed up like I did there by lifting up the plow, I don't know. That's just using the GPS mod to like turn and stuff like that. So that's the reason behind that. Anyhow, not a bad looking tractor from the outside though, I have to admit. So what is it? A Case quad track. It's not a Steiger though. It's basically if you look at the in-game Steiger, I guess it would be, which would be right at the end. This guy right here, the Case quad track, looks exactly the same, just the numbers changed, and that one probably looks better on the inside. But this is like I said in previous episodes, this is the new updated version of this particular plow, I guess it is now. It used to be a plow slash cultivator, but now it's just a plow, as you can see, based on the texture. So they did adjust it. They did adjust it now, or Limber, whatever, Joe Limber, I think that's his last name. Anyways, Joe, let's call him Joe, because that's his name. He adjusted it, so now it works the way it is intended to work. So I did find an interesting, really nice Case tractor the other day. There's a Case tractor with duals in the front, although it had been modded, unfortunately, to take 50,000 liters of grain, which I thought was a bit too much, in my opinion. Oh, I don't want to go on that one. I want to skip a lane. There we go. Yeah, I thought it was 50,000 liters is a bit just too overkill for my liking, but it was a States version 6 they were playing on, so I totally understand why they did that. Otherwise, you'd have to unload the combine like I don't know how often. It would be a ridiculous amount, that's for sure, if you didn't do something like that. Yeah, so that's an example of that must have been when the combine stopped right there. And I don't know if we have, I don't think this shows what I'm looking for. No. Let's go into here. I believe we planted, let's see, growth. We have 3, 6, and 2. 3 has been partially planted. It's growing. It's at the last stage. I don't even know what it is. What is it? Soybeans there, and we're planting soybeans here. And that's not growing. That's being, oh, I guess it's being sown. Alright, cool. So I guess we'll have one more cycle, and then we'll have soybeans to harvest in field 3, which is cool. I just don't, it's funny. I don't like the way chopped straw looks from a distance. Like, it looks really, I don't know, the words that comes to mind is sparkly, which I don't like. I wish it were a bit, the texture from a distance was a bit better. Maybe it needs to be more high res or something, I don't know for sure. But I just don't like the way it looks from here. Like, if you get out of the tractor and like look at it, it looks perfectly fine. But from in the tractor like that, or from out in the tractor like in this view, or even in this view, it doesn't look very good. I don't know what the reason is behind that. I think it's just a texture thing. So, person, if you are the one who made the chopped straw mod, and you can adjust that to make it look different, that would be awesome. If you can't, I understand. Farm Sim's not very forgiving, or not very, it doesn't work for a lot of things that you want to do. Alright, there we go. Let's line that up. Lower those. Nice. Now I could easily do this with course play, or even a hard worker for that matter. But I don't do it too often, so it's nice to do it every once in a while. Alright, let's check to see if the nutrients have changed at all. No, it doesn't seem. It's probably because I took the mod out. I suspect. I don't know if that's for sure or not. But I suspect that's the reason why, so. Interesting. And those are soybeans. They did a good job on the textures for soybeans on this map, actually. I like the way it looks a lot. What we should probably do is, we can't use the Rubenschneider on this map, unfortunately. I don't think there is on the States version 6, there's a huge, like, version of it, of the Rubenschneider, essentially. I think they just took the same code and just changed it into a much bigger object. And it's kind of interesting because you just make a TMR that way as opposed to using the mixing station like on this map, but it's LIV, I suppose. How are our cows doing for TMR? Speaking of TMR, they have none. Well, that might be a problem. They might not be very efficient in that scenario. I thought I had that. I must be because I wonder why. Alright, let's get in the cab here again. Get that last a little bit. Make the turn. Yeah, it's funny. When you're doing like in-cab work like this, it never feels very like... It never feels very fluent. And I don't know. I think that's just partially because of the way Farm Sim works. Whoops. I think it's just partially the way Farm Sim works. It's not as fluent as it could be. And what I mean by that is like normally if you were just driving yourself and you would like look behind you, for example, and look in front of you, and you'd be perfectly fine and you'd have no problems identifying, you know, where to go, sort of thing. But in this, like if I'm in the cab, like you can like doesn't look very like, you can tell it's not very smooth, let's say that. And you can definitely tell I'm using a mouse. Like it's like, okay, let me just, you know, move my mouse a lot. But anyways, there are some people who have gotten Track IR to work properly, which is pretty cool. I haven't heard much about that front yet. I know a couple of people do use it on a regular basis and they say it's fine, but I'm sure there's going to be people out there who use it, who tried to use it and didn't get it set up properly. There's always that case, right? There's always that scenario. I really don't like the inside of this tractor. It doesn't look very good. Like, look, like the mirrors over there aren't done. That shifted, that shifted. On the inside, not so good. On the outside, it's fine. It's because it's based off the Case Steiger 620, but what are you gonna do? Alright. Let's finish off this field, and then we'll see what we got upcoming. I don't know where that came from. We'll see what we got coming up next. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. Sheesh. We own 3 lumberyard. There's a... I don't know if there is actually a... There's a new map that came out. It's like a quarry and mining map, and a couple of people are like... I believe Caraver 76 and Farmer Beavis did a little... They're doing a little, like... I'm not sure what you'd call it. A mini-series, I guess, is the word I want to use. They're doing a little mini-series on the map. It does look pretty cool, actually. Huh, see that? It's like just a bit wider. I guess, I don't know if I can actually check that or not. Can I? Oh yeah, there you go. So see how that's the frame of it? So that's probably why it's getting that. Anyways. A little bit of developer stuff. And you can tell, it's funny because like some stuff, little stuff like that sometimes can be really helpful in this game, just to figure out, okay, what's going on here? Why is it doing that specifically? It can be helpful, but not always. Alright, so I guess if the chop straw, sorry, this is me going back to the chop straw thing, if that is necessary, I'll have to bring it back into the mods folder. I don't know, I try, being the key word here, I try to remove mods that I don't need or don't want to use, just because you end up with this scenario where it's like, well, I don't need this, I don't want that, that does this, that creates this problem, sort of thing. So you run into a whole bunch of scenarios like that, which is unfortunate. Alright, let's take the GPS off here and just get out of the trees here. Yeah, so even though that wasn't actually in the trees, it still hit the trees, and that's because of that hitbox I showed you there. Alright, let's get that little bit there. And we'll just go to the very end here, it'll make my life easier. The weight on this plow seems to work really well, actually, if I do say so myself. I'm not an expert by a long shot, but it seems to feel nice. Like, it doesn't. One thing I noticed about this plow, it doesn't swing. Sometimes if an object isn't properly weighted, it'll just swing all over the place, and it feels bad when you're pulling it behind something. Wow, really? You missed all that? Okay. There you go. Yeah, it's interesting because the way this plow used to work is it used to be like a plow and then a cultivator, but now it's just a plow, which is interesting. I don't know what the reason behind that was. I'd be curious to find out why that's the case, because it's like technically it doesn't plow. I don't know. I'm not an expert. What do you guys think? Does this disc ripper? It's a disc ripper, remember? Does it actually plow? Or would you consider it a plow in your mind? Let me know in the comments below. I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about that. So it's a John Deere 2720 disc ripper. So it's not exactly a plow, but in the way Joe changed it it made it into a plow, which I think it's still cool, because I still think it's cool because it's nice to have a larger plow. Because this is what, 9 meters, I think it is, 9 or 10 meters, and the biggest in-game plow you have is 6 meters, and then the biggest modded one I have is this one, and then the biggest cultivator, I don't think I have any big cultivators. I guess the John Deere one, a 15-meter cultivator, and then this one. I'd have to double check to see how that works, because sometimes these wide ones they don't work properly, because what happens is they collide with the ground, and they make it so it doesn't cultivate everything. As weird as that sounds to say, that's what happens. Now that was 10 meters. Sorry, this is me just in my head thinking about this. That's 12. And how big was the modded one? 15. Oh, okay. I guess you can go with the 15 one. There we go. Try and avoid the rocks, Iain. Little tiny field. Could you imagine using this huge implement on this field? Like, this would be, can we say overkill? Like, seriously. I've never seen one of these. I've never seen one of these in real life. Have I? Maybe I think maybe I have, actually. I've never seen it work. Let's say that. I've seen some other bigger, not big-ish John Deere tractors, like 7 Series ones and 8 Series ones work in the field before, but never. And then another of the quad track Steiger series, let's say. That'd be interesting. Maybe one of these years I'll go out west for a harvest or / planting, and see some of these huge tractors. Like in Western Canada, like some of the stuff they have out there is just ridiculous. Like they have, 1,000-acre fields. Oops, that's not a very good view. Like more than 1,000-acre like farms, I'll say, not necessarily fields, but the fields may be smaller than that. But just some enormous equipment getting used out there. Like someone mentioned in the comments a while ago that they brought out the first 100-foot seeder. Like, that's nuts. Like, and they use that in places like Manitoba, Saskatchewan, places where they have enormous farms. I'm not sure about the States. I don't know agriculture well enough in the States. Maybe in Iowa, maybe in some of the other states. I don't know for sure. So, alright, got the last little bit there. Beautiful. Alright. Let's get off of that. Line up here. Interestingly enough, I started using, you know how the camera rotates, like I have it set up in this game, that rotates with you? I did the same thing in Euro Truck, and I realized it's not so bad. I had it set up for a while, and I didn't like it for some reason, and then I tried it out again, and I was like, oh, okay, it's not so bad. Thought we were gonna miss that little tiny hexagon there. Luckily we didn't. Alright. How is that seat? Let's go check on the guy who's seating. He is doing the last couple passes. He's doing the headlands right at the moment. Yeah, didn't get stuck at all. That's weird, because the other one was like, you know, it's only like 3 meters bigger, but right in that little valley right there, it has tons of problems. I don't know why. That's one of the disadvantages. Like, some of the bigger implements, they work fine on a flat field, but as soon as you get like a field that, you know, does a little dip like that, doesn't work as nearly as well. And I don't know, I think it's because the collision boxes aren't set properly. Sometimes what people will do is they'll get rid of the collision boxes altogether, and then the plow or the cultivator or the seeder will just go through the ground. It looks terrible, but it will get the job done. So he was doing a good job. Perfect. And this guy's just chilling out here for the time being, and this guy's not doing anything. Looks like that trailer has taken a little dance there. Alright, let's get this finished up here. Oh. Case Steiger. I don't have him in a group. Let's put this guy in group 4. There we go. Anyways, let's finish this up. We got, what, 3 passes left? Perfect. There we go. That helps when you follow the GPS properly. Without the HUD, it's a little bit more difficult. So if you do that, for example, and you don't have the HUD up, you can't really tell whether you're following it or not. Not initially, at least. And then eventually you get it. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. So maybe what I'll do is I will plow this field up, or finish plowing the field up, and we don't have enough liquid slurry, and we don't have enough liquid slurry, and we don't have enough well, no, not enough manure either. That's the unfortunate part. Like, you run into a scenario where it's like, well, I can't use this because I don't have enough of it, although it's beneficial. What I could do, actually, is I could be a little cheeky and just get the placeable liquid manure sell point, or yeah, I guess it's a sell point, or a buy point, I guess it would be in this scenario. There we go. So, let me tell you a little story right at the end here. I went out fishing this morning. I left the house at like, I don't know, 7:30, something like that. Went out fishing for quite a few hours, actually. I didn't realize how long I was out there. Anyways, right at the end of the morning, so I only went out for the morning. I was in this little area, like there was a tree behind, like the tree over my head. It was like almost like a little island. Anyways, I was moving my tackle box out of the way, and I hit this little plant. And I was like, ugh, what was that? That felt a little strange. And I realized what I actually had hit was something called stinging nettle. And it feels kind of like not a mosquito bite. It feels like a bee sting or a wasp sting a little bit, except like multiple times, because they like all the little individual barbs or individual little tubular objects. That's how they describe them as online. And I was like, oh, what the heck is that? So my finger right now feels really strange, because I hit some stinging nettle earlier on today with my hand. It was only one finger, luckily. That could have been a lot worse had I got it a lot more, let's say, on my my leg, for example, or on my arm, but it was only one finger, so I'm very fortunate. So I'll have to keep an eye out for that next time, but apparently it's all over the world. I didn't realize it was like all over the world, but apparently it is. So, next time you're out in the bush, be careful of stinging nettle, because it's not fun. It's not like super painful, and some people have various reactions. Some people can have like really serious reactions to it. I was lucky and didn't have any reactions to it really. But some people have like really, really bad ones. Oh, apparently I missed that little tiny bit there. Oh well. Some people have some really, really bad reactions, so be careful about that. Oh, interesting. So he's slipping. Is he stuck on the fence? Yes, that's the reason why. Okay. That's the one downfall of this field. It's right there. And that fence, that's the last point, I think. Oh, it is on? Okay, perfect. I don't know why it missed all this little part right here. Maybe it was just making the turn. Yeah, it looks like it. Oh my goodness, I'm making a mess of this. Reasons why I use the GPS mod sometimes. There we go. Nope, that's not going away. That's strange. Wonder why that's not going away. That must be from the... Yeah. That must be from the Chop Straw mod, actually. So, basically what it does is it requires you, it seems like, requires you to cultivate, at the very least, or to plow. Because, in reality, this is a direct seeder, or no-till seeder. So, technically you don't need to have that type of thing in this scenario. But just because the way the soil mod / the way the game works, you kind of have to have those types of things, because this won't do it. Unless you use... I don't think I have a seeder like this. Let me just double check. Do I have a seeder? Nope, that's a sprayer Iain seeder. Oh no, I don't have one of those. There are some seeders that will do like a... They'll actually have like a cultivation unit and then a seeding unit right after it, but not all of them do, so... Alright, let's get this last little bit here. We'll clean that up. Hopefully not get caught in the fence like we normally would. Perfect. Raise that up. Turn that off. Fold. Beauty. And I think that's all the fields planted now. Let's get in the cab here. Let's back up a little bit. And let's get out of the way of that rock. There we go. Take it nice and easy over this little section of land right here. There we go. It's funny, the outside of this John Deere looks alright, but the inside... Whoa, what's happening there? What are we stuck on? Like, seriously. That should be able to drive right over that without a problem, but apparently it cannot. That's a bit odd. The one thing I wish this map had a bit more of was storage. I often find that for larger pieces of equipment like this, for example, I'm like, where do I put this? So like I end up just leaving it somewhere. So I feel like it could use some storage. And technically, I might have some placeables. Let's just check while we're just thinking about it. Do I have any placeable sheds? I'm sure I do. But the question is, where? What is that? Oh. Placeable sheds? No. Placeable shop? Could do that. I don't like those though. The doors. That looks like it's from... Does anybody remember Missouri? I think this was the shop from Missouri. Hall 1, Hall 2. Do I have a Hall 3? No, just a Hall 1, Hall 2. Okay. Where could we put this? Let's just buy it and see. Oh, it's fairly large. But we really don't have any place to put it, unfortunately. Not without... I'm not going to put it in the cow field. That wouldn't make any sense. I don't want to put it in a field. Well, it's not true. I could put it in a field, but I'd have to dedicate the whole field to it, which is not what I want to do. I'd like to reclaim this. That'd be kind of cool and put it there, but alas, I cannot. Oh well, I'll figure it out some other time. Alright, let's just leave this guy here. Turn him off. Group 4, was it? Yes, there we go. Alright, let's finish up these two passes. This has actually been a long episode. Sheesh. Longer than my normal ones, let's say that. Alright, finish up these two passes and that'll be the last of it for this episode. So yeah, I guess what we can do is we'll keep this for plowing, because that's good for the soil mod. And then we can use the Lemkin cultivator or the John Deere cultivator. I'd have to double check with that John Deere one, and I think it'll actually miss stuff if I try and cultivate like in... See how this map's nice because I like these. I like how the field does that, because it makes it a bit, in my opinion, a bit more picturesque. Because that's what it's like in real life. It's not just completely flat unless you live out west in Canada. So I don't know how that big John Deere cultivator would work in comparison to the Lemkin in-game one. Because I do like the Lemkin in-game one. I never get to use it. Just because I don't need to half the time. Alright, let's take a look back. Make sure that's fine. Slow down for the last little bit there. There we go. Helps when you look forward. There we go. And for the last pass, la pièce de résistance, I think is the expression. Not really. Not in this case, it doesn't work very well. Alright. Beauty. Nice. So what I can do, and I don't think, if memory serves, with liquid manure in this version of the soil mod, you actually don't need to cultivate it at all. With liquid manure, I don't believe so, at least. So, should be kind of interesting. So what I might do is I might put down the liquid manure and then go from there. Because for manure, solid manure, you do need to plow, but for liquid manure, you don't. So, as far as my memory serves in this particular topic. Alright, perfect. Yeah, I'll see about finding a location for storage. I guess technically I could put it in one of the fields for the cows or the sheep or something, but I don't really want to do that. Actually, right there, right beside that bunker would be kind of cool. Alright, last little pass here. I'm going to swing back around and get that little piece I missed there, because it's going to bother the crap out of me. Not that I'm a perfectionist or anything, some people are. It's only because the rest of the field looks good is the reason why I want to get this little bit. Otherwise I wouldn't normally care so much. There we go. And with the chop straw you can really see the difference there. Oh, well, I screwed it up now. Go figure. Anyways, I'll leave that. Anyways, folks, that will be it for today. My name's Iain Robson. This has been another episode of Farming Simulator 2015, playing on the Manchester map. If you enjoyed yourself, please go ahead and hit that share button. I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, folks, catch you guys later.